So today I thought we'd go back to basics. With everything that's happening in the world, the consciousness that seems to be demonstrating, and notice what I just said, the consciousness that seems to be demonstrating. Because here's what I understand is that the world out here is an effect of the world in here. And right now what we have happening in society is we have the greatest fear that I have seen in my entire life. In my 68 and a half years of living, I have never seen this country in this state of fear. And I'm even going back to 9/11. I've never seen this fear. And people are finding more and more reasons or facts or experiences they see in the outer world to support the fear that they have. The thing that we understand in religious science here at Agape is we understand that the world that we see is an effect of what's within us. And so this week, what's happened is people are calling me who are normally very upbeat. These people have got great things all the time, and they're saying, I don't know what's going on, but I'm depressed. I don't know how to get myself out of this. Well, think about the news media today, and what are you being bombarded with? Think about what's on Facebook. What are you being bombarded with? What's going on Twitter? What's going on in all the written publications? What are your friends saying? What are the school systems telling you? The fact here today, every church I went by today is closed. Every church is closed today. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying, but people are dealing with a situation that is so fear-based, and the fear keeps building because not only are people afraid of contacting, of getting this viral COVID-19, but they're afraid of the financial consequences. They're afraid of the emotional consequences. They're afraid of being isolated. Think about this. One of the greatest fears we have as human beings is feeling alone. And when we feel alone, we will magnify within us what's being experienced in the outer. And so, here at Agape, we talk about meditation all the time. And I would highly suggest to you that meditation is something that should be a part of your day now, twice a day, 20 minutes. That's the ultimate that I would ask you. If you don't know how to meditate, go to my YouTube channel, Lee Wallach. There'll be guided meditations there. Pop your buds in, listen, or find someone else's meditations. Listen, but do that. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I'm here to talk about is how do you tap into the inner power and you use that power in your life. So the talk today is about the power of spiritual mind treatment. It's about how to change your consciousness in these turbulent times and reclaim your inner peace and your inner power. Spiritual mind treatment is the term that we in religious science use, that Ernest Holmes created when he wrote The Science of Mind, is that where you treat your mind to know the wholeness of life, and in knowing the wholeness of life, you create. So it's not about asking, it's not about beseeching, it's making a declaration. And when you make a declaration and you're tapped into oneness, you're tapped into that, you create that regardless of what's happening around you. The thing I go back to Viktor Frankl, who was in the Nazi concentration camp. I believe it was Auschwitz. And he was in Auschwitz, and every round around him is dying. They're being put to death, and yet Viktor Frankl maintained an atmosphere that just doesn't surround him. He actually formed love for the guards around him. He survived the concentration camp. He thrived in it, came out of it, and did some magnificent work that helped people afterwards. He understood the power of the inner being, of consciousness. That's what we're here to talk about today. How do we shift that inner consciousness within us? And so we go back, and the purpose of treatment, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to call it treatment. Spiritual mind treatment. I'm not calling it affirmative prayer. I am calling it treatment. You are treating your mind. It's to train one's or your mind, your consciousness toward a situation, a person, or a problem. It's not about trying to change someone else's mind. It's not about trying to change someone else's consciousness. You can't. but you can know for them that there's an infinite wisdom within them that will guide and direct them to their highest good. Do you notice what I said? I said to their highest good, not the highest good you perceive for them. And I think that's real important to understand, is because we don't know what someone else's path is. We don't know where they are in their journey. So if we want them to live the way we want, we're denying them the freedom of their life experience. And you know, I've got sons, I've got a granddaughter, I got a wife, I've got a board of directors here at Agape, I have you. If you would just do the frig as I say, your lives would be a lot better. But I can't do that, because you're all free. And I have to honor that you have that freedom, and I have to accept where you are. That became really clear as we did our class this morning, as we were talking about that. You have to be sensitive in the time that we're living in, and you can say, I see this, why don't you see that? You can't ask the why question. People are where they are because that's where they are in their journey, and they're supposed to be where they are so they can get the lesson that they want to get, or they need to get, or they desire to get, which is a natural evolution of consciousness. Okay? We need to do spiritual mind treatment. When we do spiritual mind treatment, we become conscious of truth and consequently direct life force or creative power toward a desired result. When we understand truth, that we are part of oneness, that all there is oneness, everywhere present oneness, and out of that oneness, it created everything, and therefore it created us, and as it created us, we are that which it is expressing individualized, and the very power it used to create us is the power we use through the power of our thought. When we can embrace that idea and realize that what we think, what we talk about, our prayers, we're putting the law into effect. When you complain, when you bitch, when you moan, the law says, yes, you get what you complain, bitch, and moan about. Did you hear that? When you put out fearful ideas, the law says, yes, we'll give you more to fear. You see, the law that creates does not care what you put out. It automatically gives to you the nature of your mental atmosphere. The sources from which most diseases come are conscious observation, suppressed emotions, subjected inherited tendencies, and perhaps 3/4 of them from race suggestion. This is pure Ernest Holmes. Let's dissect this. Conscious observation. Today, what are you consciously observing? You're observing the data about a virus being spread all over the world. You're observing the data that it's starting to become greater where we are. You're observing the data that the United States is 4 weeks behind Italy, so we're going to experience what Italy has. You're observing that, and what happens? People don't understand that when you have a respiratory problem, it affects your lungs and your system. They think it affects your butt. And therefore, they go out and buy toilet paper. It's really interesting how we consciously don't even think about what we're doing. You know, it just blew me away. I was in Costco. I was there to buy some staples, organic cheese, vegetables, things that feed me. And I'm looking, every basket had toilet paper in it. And I'm there, holy crap. People are going to have a bowel problem. Here's what I understand. We're not going to have a bowel problem from this virus going around. In 9 months, we're going to have a birth situation. There are going to be more babies born 9 months, 10 months from now than the population. I mean, we are going to see an explosion in that. It happens every time this happens. Because what are you going to do when you're isolated in your home? If you have a partner and you're at the age of reproduction, you can have a baby. Because you're not going to think about, oh, I need to just feel connected. Anyway, I know I do amuse myself up here, don't I? And so conscious observation, what else are you consciously observing? Where's the stock market? 25% down. Are you consciously observing that? Are you in fear? Let me share with you, 6 to 8.5 years, stock market always comes back. Always comes back to, I have lost, because I have drawn from the stock market twice, I've lost well over $500,000 by those stupid mistakes. Don't follow my example on those. Be prudent, but don't follow my examples. Don't look at what is, know what will be. Also then, suppressed emotions. We suppress our emotions. We are taught to be good little boys and girls. Boys are taught, hold in your feelings. Don't put those feelings out there. And then you see them just building on us. And then what happens? Those suppressed emotions create fears. Those fears are in our back consciousness, and boom, they demonstrate in our lives. And we spend all of our lives trying to unsuppress. Maybe that's why there's the toilet paper crisis. We're unsuppressing our emotions. Also, subjected inherited tendencies. Your parents put tendencies into you by the simple fact of the DNA in which they were. They put tendencies in you because during the first 7 years of your life, when your brain is in the theta stage, you're blindly observing everything that they say, and you're accepting everything they say, so those tendencies are there. You're also blindly accepting all the tendencies that the church put in your mind, that the politicians put in your mind, that the schools. So you have all these tendencies that are buried within you. And you wonder why you act the way we do. Because we're not conscious enough to realize that those tendencies are there. And then perhaps 3/4 of them come from race suggestion. Race suggestion is simply this: the collective suggestion. In other words, right now in this room, there is a collective race consciousness. That is a sum of the consciousness of each of the people in this room. And together it builds one consciousness. So right now, I'm going to guarantee you that in this room, you feel a little bit calmer. You feel a little bit safer than you did yesterday when you were out in the world. Because there's a different consciousness here. In the world right now, there is more fear than ever. I am dealing with more people one-on-one as they try to get through the fear, and they don't even realize it because you're just hearing it bombarding at you. It's like you're bombarding it, you don't even feel it, and it's bombarding, and it's there, and it's building, and then now you're acting out of what was built that you weren't consciously aware was being fed into you. Doesn't mean you don't deal with the facts. Because from the human perspective, we must deal with the facts. I am not afraid to hug or touch anyone. But I put that rule in place today because I don't know who I will be around, and I don't want to pass a potential germ to someone who's not able to deal with it. Does that make sense? So what I'm doing is I'm trying to be aware of people who are not as aware, who might not be in the same level of consciousness. So I would say to you, one of the things that I would highly recommend in this time, be more gentle. Be more gentle as you talk to yourself. Be more gentle as you talk to your loved ones. Be more kind to yourself. Be more kind to loved ones. Spend more time in silence with yourself. Spend more time appreciating others. Spend more time being grateful for everything in your life. Even what's happening right now, be grateful for it because there's good that must come from it. The world is always in balance, and more must come. Here's what Ernest Holmes says about disease. Disease is an impersonal thought force. Did you get that? It's an impersonal thought force. It's not that you've created a disease. There's a force that's impersonal out there that's created by nature and the masses. Operating through people. This thought force operates through people, which does not belong to them. Disease does not belong to the person who gets it. Does that make sense? It is not who they are. It's an experience of something that comes into them. Recognize that it is neither person, place, or thing, and there is no law to support disease. It is a coward fleeing before the truth, and there is nothing but truth. In the state of oneness, in the state of pure connection with all that is, there is no disease. It's only in the human experience where we feel and we believe in separation that disease can exist. So healing happens. What was Jesus and the centurion? Centurion came to Jesus about someone in his home that was ill. And the centurion said to him, I came to you because da-da-da-da. And Jesus says, it is done already because of your faith. You have a belief in me, in what I teach, therefore it is healed. See, here's a real interesting thing. I have people come to me and they say, Reverend Lee, I can't believe that that can happen for me. And I say to them, do you believe that I believe it can? And if they believe I believe it can, they've got an opening. So I can do spiritual mind treatment. I can treat my mind to know the truth for them, and when they tap into that part of the one mind which they can tap into, they will have the experience of what I've implanted there. So we can influence other people's results if they are open to the possibility. Into the possibility. So truth is knowing oneness. That's truth. So how do you get out of dis-ease? Going back to truth. Claiming it. So we're going to, in our classes, we teach spiritual mind treatment. We teach 5 steps. I'm not going to teach that today. I'm going right back to the actual words of Ernest Holmes and talk to you about this. So don't take pictures of the slide until the slide's done. Then you get one picture with everything on it. I'm just saving you a lot of clicking. So the first thing we must do is we quiet the mind and definitely state that faith and understanding are present. You sit still, become still, and know that you have a faith of your connection to oneness, and you understand that you are the divine experiencing, that you are not just your mind and your body. You are more than your mind and your body and your emotions. You are oneness with God. After you've done that, you mentally state and spiritually feel that a consciousness and a constructive presence pervades all life. In other words, knowing that there is a divine consciousness everywhere present that is creating life, and that presence is within you. Then you affirm that this power will respond and that it does respond. So you're claiming there is a power in the universe. That power is right here, right now. And that power is responding to me, and it now responds to me. You notice there's no doubt in my voice on that? It must be, you must affirm it. You must make a declaration into the power that creates. Then you've got to sit quietly then, and you've got to build your belief. This is the most important thing. You've got to believe that you are one with it. You've got to understand that in that oneness of one with it, you have the power to use these ideas, these powers, these principles in your life. And you've got to sit there and you've got to get into that state. And I can't describe what that state is, but it's an inner knowing state that you will know when you know. Once you're there, now state your desire as simply as possible, using only such words that have meaning to you. In other words, when I do a spiritual mind treatment, I have words that mean to me. I hear Michael Beckwith. He'll have words that mean to him. I tried to pray like Michael Beckwith. I can't. You know why I can't pray like Michael Beckwith? Because I'm not Michael Beckwith. I have to use words that Lee Wallach uses that mean for me. So you have to use words that mean for you, that give the law the clarity that you desire to experience in your life. Your words may say, hey, dude, I'm directing you to do this. Now, if you believe that, that works. Because the law doesn't care how you talk to it. It cares, do you believe in what it is? And are you believing in what you're putting into it? Then you have to see that there is no denial of this thought. No denial of this thought ever enters your mind. In other words, when you put out there that which is desired, you don't go back and dig it up by putting something and denying it. You know, I am abundant. Oh, crap, I'm not going to have to get paid for 3 weeks. Do you see what I just did? I just dug up the seed of abundance. No, I know that the infinite source out there will bring me abundance in ways that I cannot even imagine. And I know that I am financially secure in my being. Do you notice how I said that? Now I must talk that way, I must think that way, I must feel that way, and I must act that way. Because the second I don't do any of those, I'm digging up the seed that I planted. And the law gives you what you plant. Think about the law being the center section of creation. You've got the seed, the soil, the plant. The law is the soil. It doesn't care what seed you put into it. You plant an apricot seed, you're going to get an apricot tree. If you plant a cherry seed, you're going to get a cherry tree. If you plant an eggplant seed, you're not going to get a pineapple. So your life mirrors back to you the seeds that you've planted and the seeds that you've nourished. Did you just hear that? It's not only did you plant the seed, but you nourished the seed. So if fear's coming up, it's because you planted the seed of fear and you've nourished it. Then you create a definite acceptance in the mind that you are being guided to paths of peace and acceptance. Here's what I know is you may not believe what you're doing, but you can pray that there is a divine wisdom in you that guides you every step. And all you have to know is what is the next step I'm going to take. And if you trust in that, you will be guided to do that. But you got to test it. You can't believe me. You have to prove this for yourself. And this is no better time. This is the best time to use this and prove it. Because guess what? If you don't try to do this, you're going to have an average experience. Because the consciousness that surrounds you, you're going to have an average of that. Now, if you want an average experience, keep doing what everyone else is doing. If you want an experience that's unique, that's powerful, test it. Use this tool to create your life. Feel the response in your thought. Feel that what you state is the truth. You have to. This is the most important. This is where the power comes. It's the feeling you have when you say it. It's the feeling you have when you leave it. When I'm with my granddaughter, Claire, 23 months old, and she goes, "Baba, I love you." Do you know the feeling I've got? Holy crap. I put her in my will. She's getting everything. Stephen, you're out of the will now. Matthew, Claire gets everything because my sons, they're older now. They don't go, "Baba, I love you." But Claire does. And here's what I know. That's unconditional love. She doesn't care what I do. She says, "You're Baba." That's good. Affirm that you accept and believe and receive. So you affirm what you've put out there, you accept that it is now yours, you believe it is now yours, and you open yourself up to receive it in ways that you have not yet imagined. Because the law will give you what you declare. It may not give it to you in the way and the how you want to receive it. So you've got to have your mind open to receive it however it comes. That's a challenge. Open your mind however it comes. When you consciously create your mental atmosphere, you change what is drawn to you. Creating this atmosphere is no one's responsibility but your own. Your mental atmosphere, all your thoughts, your words, your actions, and feelings that you've had, creates an atmosphere that you radiate out into the world. That which is like it comes in. That which is unlike it moves away. So if you're drawing in things you don't want, you go within and create a new mental atmosphere. If you're attracting something and you want more of what you're attracting, keep putting out more of that mental atmosphere. Spiritual mind treatment. You are treating the mind, which is the source, which is the cause of all effects. When we can embrace that, we become powerful creators even in the midst of chaos. You have a week. You get to test it. I can't wait for you to send me your results. Let's go into prayer. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wallach. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.